Alright, today is September 26th, 2022. We are here in the Minnesota Veterans Home in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm here with Mr. Gerald Sowers today, who is a veteran of the Marine Corps. So, thank you a ton for coming today. Can you start by telling me where and when you were born?
I was born in St. Paul, Minnesota, July 30th, 1951.
And who are your parents and what did they do?
Stanley and Lorraine Sowers, and my dad was a maintenance man, and he worked in Galveston steel factory in New Brighton, and my mom worked at Waldorf box factory in St. Paul.
So, what were some of the things that you did while growing up?
Well, I rode a motorcycle, several motorcycles actually. I had a horse. I broke a horse when he was 2 years old. Lived on a farm. We had 40 head of cattle and 12 milk cows, and so that kept us pretty busy. We had baled hay, about 12,000 bales a year.
So what was farm life like at that time?
It was a hard life, but it was interesting, and it was a good way to grow up.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Yeah. So did you have any kind of military background at the time? Did you know you wanted to join the military?
Well, I was always interested in the Marines, and I wanted to go to school and learn a trade.
Yeah. So what was the chain of events that led to you enlisting?
Well, I wanted to be a man. I wanted to grow up and be a man. So that was the main reason. And I was always curious about the Marines. I had some friends that joined the Marines.
Yeah. Where were you before you joined?
Let's see. I lived in Pine City for a while, and then I moved to Cook, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I finished high school. And then we moved back down to Hinckley, Minnesota.
Yeah. And what was the date when you enlisted?
It was 11/24/69 to 11/24/73.
Yeah. Was there a specific moment that inspired you to join, or was it just a long time coming?
It was a long time coming. I wanted to get away from the family life, and the farm life. I just wanted to explore different countries.
Yeah. And how did your family feel about you joining?
My dad wasn't very happy about it.
Yeah.
He didn't like it.
At the time, had you heard a lot about the war in Vietnam?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And what were the things that were on the news, or just what people were telling you?
Well, a lot of people were against the war. I kind of was against it too. I thought it was more Congress, put it in place, and I didn't really believe in it, but thankfully I didn't have to go over there.
Yeah. So you didn't believe in the war, but you still wanted to serve.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was kind of different from.
Right. I didn't want to be drafted, and then not have a say-so where I was going to go.
Yeah.
So that was one of the main reasons too that I joined.
Yeah. Who were like the friends and other people that you left behind once you joined?
Well, there was a lot of people that were drinking at the time, and I kind of wanted to get away from them too.
Yeah.
So it was time for a different change, different area.
Yeah. So, when did you go off to boot camp?
Where did I go after boot camp?
When did you go to boot camp?
When I first enlisted,
Yeah.
11/24/69.
Yeah. And what was that like?
That was rough. It was hard. They had us doing a lot of stuff that was kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
it helped us grow up.
And what were some of the drills and just things you had to do there?
Well, we had to do marching, and we had rifle drills and parade dress drills.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Yeah, we had to clean our rifles and keep the barracks clean and
Yeah.
pass inspections. Yeah, we had inspections.
Do you remember what your drill instructors were like?
There was one guy who was called him Sergeant Billet. He was kind of a tall guy. He was kind of funny. But and there was another guy who looked like a bulldog. He was kind of stocky and he was kind of rough. And so I didn't like him too much.
Yeah. Was there a lot of yelling and just?
Oh yeah, they put us in the shower one time when you're in the bathroom and shaving and stuff like that, you're not supposed to talk.
Yeah.
So somebody was talking and he made us get in the shower, turn on the cold water, and he told us to walk like ducks and quack like ducks. There was a lot of tearing a person down and then building them back up again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of responsibility and teaching you discipline.
Yeah. What was an average day like in boot camp? What would you do?
Mostly just drilling, marching and cleaning things and
Yeah.
keeping the barracks clean and cleaning all of our equipment and having periodic inspections.
Yeah. Do you have like any other stories from that time, or just from the barracks, or?
There was they had fire watch too, and then we have to stay up, most of the night to make sure there was no fires because they had oil stoves.
Oh, yeah.
And so one time I fell asleep and he snuck in and he scared the heck out of me. I was sitting on my bunk. Well, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But, it happens, so. And then sometimes they'd come in the morning and they'd take a trash can and throw it down the hallway to wake everybody up.
Yeah.
And if somebody wouldn't get up, then they'd tip the rack over. We had bunk beds.
Yeah.
So that was kind of crazy.
What do you think was the hardest part of boot camp?
The calisthenics, doing the physical exercises.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would tell us we could eat a lot, and then after we ate all that food, then they'd have us do calisthenics, and some people would get sick.
So, after boot camp, did you have any more training, or did you go straight to the Marines?
We went to infantry training regiment, also in California. I can't remember exactly where it was. It was Camp Pendleton. Maybe by Santa Ana in California.
Yeah. And what did you do in infantry training?
Well, we learned to throw the grenades, shoot machine guns, and we had rifle exhibitions where we had to qualify with a rifle.
Yeah.
And also with a pistol. And let's see what else. Well, that was about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was there anything that surprised you about military life, or just being in the Marines?
Well, I didn't think it was going to be that hard.
Yeah.
Well, we learned how to shoot a M79 grenade launcher and also What else? Oh, lost rocket.
And what else do you remember about infantry training? What were some of the things that happened there?
Well, you couldn't walk on the grass. They didn't like that law. You'd get punished if you walked on the grass.
Yeah.
I was kicked in the throat one time when I walked up the embankment from shooting rifle.
Oh.
So he knocked me down, and I had to go all the way down this way and then back again up the stairs and then back to where he was.
Yeah.
I had forgot to put my shooting glove on, and it was laying by me.
Yeah.
And so that was the reason. Then he had a shooting glove, and then he slapped me in the face with it. It was a good thing to remember, put your shooting glove on.
Yeah. Were they always that strict?
Oh yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long did that part of training last?
I think it was a couple of months anyway.
Yeah. And after that, where did you go?
And I went to Memphis, Tennessee. And I went to aviation mechanics school.
Yeah.
But I didn't make it to the classes because I didn't have the aptitude for it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be pretty smart.
Yeah. So by now, were you fully active in the Marines?
Oh yes, yeah, I was active when I first started. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What was your specific job?
Oh, when I left there, then I got stuck on a quota for the Caribbean cruises, which I went on twice.
Yeah.
My MOS was 1371, which is combat engineer, mines, demolitions, and explosives, and bridges.
Yeah.
So then we set up on the beach, with the shore party division, and we went to several different locations, like St. Martin, St. Thomas, Cuba,
Yeah.
Virgin Islands.
Was this a deployment or?
Yeah, it was a deployment on a ship. There was first one was a Plymouth Rock,
Yeah.
which I listed, and the next one was the Hermitage, which
Yeah.
was they call it LSD, which is a landing ship dock.
Yeah. What were some of the things you did at each of the islands you were at?
Well, we had practice landings,
Oh, yeah.
and one of my jobs was to keep track of everything that came across the beach on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
And also to operate a forklift, a 2-ton forklift.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was fun. That was interesting.
Yeah. How long were you in the Caribbean for?
I was 6 months at a time, twice.
Okay. Yeah. What were the living conditions like when you were over there?
Well, they were kind of primitive. We had to live in tents, usually 2 guys to a tent. And I remember there was a lot of chiggers on the
Chiggers?
Yeah, bugs.
Yeah.
On the sandy beaches. So, but you had to watch out for scorpions and things like that.
Yeah.
Barracudas in the water, sharks.
Yeah.
So yeah, and centipedes was another one too. They had some big centipedes over there.
Yeah. In an average day there, what would you be doing?
Probably just keeping track of everything that came across the beach to resupply it to the troops.
Yeah. What surprised you the most about military life while deployed?
What surprised me the most?
Yeah.
I guess I would have to say, the discipline, that you had to go through.
Mm-hmm. And when you were in the Caribbean, what kind of food did you eat? What did they give you?
We had cooks right on the ships, so it wasn't too bad. It was,
okay. Yeah.
we had normal food.
Yeah.
But when we hit the beaches and stuff, then we had sea rations, canned stuff and
Yeah.
processed stuff.
And after you would hit the beach on an island, how long would you stay there?
Well, sometimes it'd be a couple months at a time, maybe
Oh,
3-4 months
yeah.
sometimes.
And what exactly would you do on each island?
Well, sometimes, like I said, I was keeping track about everything that come across the beach, and then sometimes we'd have war games.
Oh, yeah.
We have different teams, and then we had blanks, in our rifles, so we didn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
And then we'd have survival training. I had to go to jungle training for like 2 weeks in Panama Canal.
Yeah.
So and they give you a knife and a gun, or a knife and a compass, and you had to survive for 2 weeks eating bananas and bugs and whatever you could find,
Yeah.
So that was kind of strange.
Yeah.
But it was good training.
Yeah. So there wasn't ever like any actual combat? It was
No,
just,
no.
Yeah, drills. Yeah.
We didn't have any actual combat.
Yeah. What was Panama like there?
It was hot and it rained a lot.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a jungle down
Yeah.
there, There was a lot of different things. I didn't get to see a lot of the animals, so there were snakes around, stuff like that. But we never ran into any real problems, with the animals.
Yeah. Did you go on one of the 2-week survival things in the jungle?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have any stories from that you remember?
Not really.
Yeah. Was it pretty smooth? Was there anything
It was kind of spooky because you didn't know what really was out there.
that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they probably had, I suppose they had pumas, or maybe
Yeah.
some other animals. I never ran into any.
Yeah. Did you go alone or were you with a unit?
Well, it was a squad that went out.
Yeah.
Like seven guys or so. So
Yeah.
we had other people with us.
Was this the same squad that you had in Camp Pendleton and Memphis, or did it change?
No, it changed.
Yeah. Do you remember any of the people from your squad?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
They all went separate ways.
Yeah.
Different bases, different places.
Yeah. Would you say there is a strong sense of community in your unit? Did everyone get along well, or?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Did you get to serve with people from all across the country?
Pretty much. I served with the Dutch Marines for a while,
Oh.
and we had training and exercises with them, deployments.
Yeah. Do you think that you met people who you otherwise would have never talked to while in the Marines?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yeah. There was people from all over, all through the United States.
Yeah. Was the Marines still segregated at the time, or?
We had some problems with that, yes.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a problem with it, but some of the guys did.
Yeah. And during all of this, the war in Vietnam was still going on, right?
Yes.
Did you ever hear about it a lot, or?
Not really. We didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't get much information on it.
Yeah. Did you ever think that you would be sent over there?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we were like the next people next to the grunts, the infantry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of had to clear the beach before they came in,
Yeah.
give it the mines and stuff.
And when you were doing all these war games and hitting the beaches, Was that practice for Vietnam, would you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was there anyone you knew or had served with that ended up going over into the country?
Yeah, there was a couple guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever know what happened to them?
Well, one guy I used to keep in touch with. He was from Iowa. We used to meet once in a while and, get together for lunch.
Yeah. And what did he say about the war and what he did over there?
He was against it too. He was
Yeah.
He didn't go over there, but he was a refrigeration mechanic. He kept the refrigerators going.
Yeah. Was that a common attitude in the Marines to be against the war?
I think so. Yeah, a lot of guys didn't want to go over there. They didn't believe in the cause. They thought it was a political war.
Yeah.
And we didn't end up winning anyway.
But a lot of you still wanted to serve, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was different from that stuff. So while you were in the Caribbean, do you remember any of the other things that happened out there?
A lot of guys used to smoke pot.
Oh.
Yeah, they got it free there, so it was pretty prevalent.
Yeah.
So
Did you have a lot of free time, or were you always busy?
we were pretty much busy all the time. We had some free time to write letters and stuff like
yeah.
that, so that was good. And then we had liberty. We could go out on passes to check the different cities out.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun.
Did you ever get to meet any of the locals at the islands you were staying at?
Not until I was transferred to Hawaii my last 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
And then I met some of the locals there, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Had a few friends,
Yeah. Were you able to keep in touch with your family that well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept writing them letters the whole time, so that was good.
Yeah. How often would you do that?
Oh, about every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then, I'd come home on passes, sometimes for, 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah. Could you tell me a little bit about what one of the war games looked like?
Well, we'd start out at night, and then they had, they'd be hiding in the woods somewhere, and we'd have to try to find them.
Yeah.
And if they got wounded, then they had to wear a patch, that they were wounded.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fun. But it was, you were trying to keep from getting shot too.
Oh, yeah.
All that. It was kind of like paint games. They had
Yeah.
paint.
Oh,
Yeah. Paint guns.
So
Yeah, it was different.
no real bullets.
No.
No. Yeah. And what was it like when you would hit the beaches? What would you do in those drills?
Well, we'd have to jump off the landing boats and wade through the water. Hopefully it wasn't too deep. And we usually had a full pack on and a rifle.
Yeah.
And we'd have to, crawl in the sand and then get set up, make sure that we weren't receiving any fire, from the opposite, from an enemy.
Yeah.
But there really wasn't any enemy. We had to pretend that there was. So. And then, of course, get everything set up and set up tents, and keep track of all the stuff that came across the beach.
Yeah. Did you enjoy doing this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah. How intense was it?
Sometimes it was pretty intense,
Yeah.
but most of the time it was pretty, it's just basic stuff.
Yeah.
You had to do it, and then, you know, it was just to get it done and, you know, be set up.
Yeah. So after the Caribbean, where did your unit go? Where were you sent?
I went to Oahu in Hawaii,
Yeah.
and I worked with, you know, generators that run the radar. You know, did the maintenance on them as far as fuel, you know, fuel filters and air cleaners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I ran a 2-ton forklift. And we were next to an airstrip that where A4 Phantoms used to run in and land and take off. So they had a signal light set up, you know, when you could cross and when you couldn't. So that was, you know, set up that way.
Yeah.
And then we lived in the barracks, you know, and then every month you had like 2 weeks of mess duty, you know, you had to work in the kitchen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then you had a lot of drills and, you know, inspections over there too.
Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about what you would do with like forklift operations and being a mechanic?
Well, like I said, we'd sometimes we'd paint the generators, you know, keep them clean, you know, do the maintenance on them.
Yeah.
And then the forklift, sometimes we'd have to move heavy boxes or load 6-ply trucks with crates of boxes.
Yeah.
That was about it.
What other stories do you have from Hawaii? What kinds of things did you do there?
Well, I bought a motorcycle over there for $800.
Yeah.
And a couple, I think it was, I don't know, a month or two maybe, I put on, you know, 2,000 miles just driving around the island, checking out the island.
Yeah.
And so that was fun. I got to meet a couple of locals there and a couple of friends.
Yeah.
And we go out once in a while and, you know, chase women.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the scenery?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
beautiful over there.
Yeah.
And when I got out, I stayed over there. Well, I went home for leave for a while, but then I went back over there. I met a girlfriend over there, and
Oh, yeah.
then I worked at the airports for a while doing security
Mm-hmm.
on Molokai, Lanai, and Maui, you know, and Oahu. So that was kept me busy. You know, I made some extra money while I was there.
Yeah. What do you remember the most about being in Hawaii?
I love the scenery and
Yeah.
be able to go and trace petroglyphs, you know,
Oh, yeah.
and you know, and enjoying the country, you know, and the ocean, you know.
Yeah.
We camp out on the beach once in a while,
Yeah.
you know, with my girlfriend, have a bonfire,
Mm-hmm.
and enjoying the waterfalls and all the different plants,
Yeah.
flowers, and they had flamingos. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah. How long were you in Hawaii
For 2 years.
for? 2 years.
No, it was 2 years service, and then I think I stayed over there like 5 years on my own.
Okay. Yeah. So you enjoyed it very much, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Was it kind of like a vacation, sort of?
Yes, it was kind of expensive, but it was
Oh,
it was
okay.
worth it. You know,
Yeah.
I really had a good time when I was there.
Yeah. I believe you wrote down here that you were awarded the Good Conduct Medal.
Yes.
Yeah. What was the story behind that?
Well, most people get good conduct medals, you know, if they haven't been arrested or, you know, done any major thing over there. So it just